Lucky Lefty podcast. Honora Boys in the building, brought to you by Honora Whiskey. Hey, yo, I like that Scully. HonoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, HonoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure that you do so
responsibly.
Got to do it responsibly, man. Audio edibles each and every day. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CFB Nation. You know where we reside. It's the home of the misguided passion. And then YouTube. Subscribe to us, man. The thumbs up. Hit it for us.
That's right.
Appreciate it. Hit that notification bell. The Lucky Lefty podcast. You already know. We spin it. Yeah. Now, we were laughing before we started because Left is going with the backpacker look today. He's going with the preppy backpacker look. And, you know, myself, I'm going trucker look. Yeah, I got on
That's right. That's right.
Trucker jacket, corduroy. You know what I'm saying? Sporting my fashion geek. And what's your favorite material, Left, to dress up in? First of all, I can't stand summer. So I'm just going, anything connected to summer, it's too hot. I just put t-shirts on with shorts, basketball shorts, and I'm good.
I've always been a very plush. Like, I love the super big sweatshirts. I love cashmere, you know, that Egyptian cotton type of stuff. I don't really know how I feel about the suede sweatsuits. That's not the same vibes.
So you don't rock, you never had a Sean John velour?
The Sean John velour, I didn't rock it. I thought, you know, my parents rocked it when it was hot back in the, you know, was it the early 2000s. But I've always been the oversized, super plush cashmere type of cotton or type of garment I liked. And my pattern, I love the stripes. I like the stripe pattern has always been cool for me.
I am very much, see, I have two. And I gotta have my churchy style and then my everyday style.
But church style, is that the big suits? You know how the suits
I don't.
Is big.
No, I'm a sport coat dude. I'm a sport coat, upper echelon vest dude with the jean look.
Oh, the vest with the jean look? Yeah, that's modern.
That's my look. I said this before, I prefer bow ties over regular ties.
Because with the jeans, you put the boots on or the nice, little steel toe almost.
Yeah. So this goes back to, could you ever see a football uniform veloured up? Do you think anybody would ever go outside the realm of material of normal football uniforms and go to an alternative material?
Everything is about stretchy and tightness.
Okay, let's say even if it isn't the material, let's say the numbers are, let's say, some sense of instead of what we get normally. Let's just say the numbers are like some type of hair or fur to stand out. Like if Texas actually had their numbers resembling the fur on Bevo, who was actually the steer mascot for the Texas Longhorns. So what if they had their normal uniform, but the numbers and the name were in like the cream and burnt orange fur material for a certain game? Do you think that would be too much? I actually think that would be a dope little combination, man. If I were a Texas fan, I would probably think about purchasing that jersey just strictly for a collector's item, even if I didn't want to wear it. I actually might think about doing that. What if Notre Dame had like green suede numbers and lettering on their uniform?
I mean, it would be interesting to see us try a different material. I think if we went to my favorite material for any jersey, which I think Notre Dame should consider when we rock these type of jerseys, Notre Dame was winning football. Jerseys. The mesh jerseys that didn't really stretch, but they tight because mesh can only go so far, and I love the mesh jerseys. It's like those practice jersey feels.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. The mesh jerseys. I've never. You said it was all about fit, and I really never tried on a football jersey like that.
But remember, okay, it's like the same thing as the basketball jerseys that are reversible.
Hmm.
The reversible basketball jerseys are the same thing.
You know what? Now that you say that, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. Hmm. On today's show, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the deep dive of whether or not Notre Dame needs a Superman, a quarterback. Does Notre Dame need a Superman at quarterback? And then we're going to look at film, some of these new wide receiver offers. One kid, Notre Dame has 2 reasons to go to IMG games this year. We'll talk about that young man. We also have a new offer from the state of Texas. And it doesn't fit the profile of some of the earlier offers from Mike Brown in the wide receiver room for the 25 class. Because yesterday we talked about the need for Notre Dame to have a chess piece offensively, a Percy Harvin type. Left, they might have listened to the show because they gave a scholarship to a Percy Harvin type in style of play, but not in size. And we'll get to that young man as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Not the size, but the
not the
playmaking
size.
ability.
Absolutely. Notre Dame coaches back on the road, man. Marcus Freeman, Mike Denbrock, Mike Mickens, Steven McCullough from Mike Brown. They're down in the Sunshine State today, Left. They went to see James Simon and spent time not only in Mississippi at Deuce Knight's basketball game last night, but they were also in Missouri to check out another running back. We're going to watch his film, James Simon,
And I
out of the
like how
St.
they
Louis
recruit
area.
away from the weather places.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And while down in the Sunshine State, they're going to check in on one of those wide receivers that we're going to watch film of today. They're going to check in with Dallas Golden, who just left South Bend and has been crystal ball to eventually commit to Notre Dame. And then Gino Guidugli and Al Washington will be in the state of Tennessee, the volunteer state, where they're going to check out 26 quarterback Jared Curtis. We'll watch his film tomorrow, Left, because we didn't want to stack a lot of film today. But that film will be in the second half of the show, and then they'll be looking in on Ethan Utley, he's a 6'4", 270-pound defensive lineman. And this kid, the entire SEC wants this kid. He's a stud. He's an absolute stud. And then Chris O'Leary, he was in Texas. He was actually the one that extended the offer to the Percy Harvin type that we'll be tapping in with. He'll be in Dallas. Joe Rudolph will be in Virginia and West Virginia. And then Marty Biaggi will also be in the state of Texas. He'll be checking out the Houston area. So Notre Dame coaches, once again, on the road. Let's get to our initial topic. As always, what's smoking? What's smoking? Brought to you by Fashion Geek, AlonzoJackson.com. Fashion Geek, we run the city. Does Notre Dame need a Superman at quarterback? And what brought this about, Left? I'm listening to Steve Young on with Rich Eisen. And Steve Young was talking about Brock Purdy, and he was talking about, the situation, the beneficial situation that Brock Purdy's in, which was similar to the situation that he was in. And as a Hall of Fame quarterback, he said, I have no shame in saying that I had a lot of help around me to help me win ultimately, help me get to a Super Bowl and ultimately win a Super Bowl. And it's part of the reason I was able to have a Hall of Fame career. And he said, I don't think there's any shame in that. He said the problem with Josh Allen and the Bills is that they ask him to be Superman far too much. They ask him to be Superman far too much. And because of that, it probably impacts their decision making and what they feel like they have to put around him And the truth of the matter is, Josh Allen needs help. He needs more help. And I found that to be very interesting, and I respected it because of Steve Young acknowledging the fact that him as a Hall of Fame quarterback still needed more help than people probably expected from him being an elite quarterback or a really good quarterback. And so that begs the question, Left, as we talk about Notre Dame and the improvement in the talent in the quarterback room under Marcus Freeman, do they need one of those quarterbacks to be a Superman? Or do they just need someone that can make the big plays? Now, we know that the talent in the room physically is greater than Stetson Bennett. Okay, but I'm just going to use Stetson Bennett as the example. Left is probably driving. He's going to reconnect. He's on the move. You can say what you want to say about Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett had moments. Moments. He would play terrible, play subpar, and then have moments. He played terrible in the second quarter, third quarter against Ohio State in the semifinals last year. And then the fourth quarter, man, just clutch. So does Notre Dame need Deshaun Watson against Alabama? Or do they need Stetson Bennett at Georgia? It's just an interesting question. What type of quarterback do you think Notre Dame is ultimately going to need to get over the hump and win a championship? It should be interesting. Now, how do you feel about that? Look, what type of quarterback does Notre Dame need to get over the hump? Do they need a Deshaun Watson that's going to have dominant performances, or do they need a guy that's like Stetson Bennett that's just going to be clutch in the biggest moments?
I think if we had something of a mix between a Stetson Bennett and a Stetson Bennett and a Justin Fields. I think if we get a kid that has enough dynamic ability as an athlete like a Justin Fields, but makes a right amount of enough throws as a Stetson Bennett, we got the best of both worlds. We don't need necessarily a Deshaun Watson who's just the overtaking hero figure of the team where it's sink or swim. We have a team that can provide a lot of help and resources where the whole Stetson Bennett comes in. It's because we got us receivers we can throw it to. We got tight ends we can get it to. We got running backs. But to not be the main character, but still be a support character that's important, is where the quarterback has to lie. We don't need him to be the main character. We need him to be his right-hand man.
Basically, you just described the challenge of Riley Leonard this year.
Yeah, right? Basically.
And that's why I brought this up, because in hearing Steve Young say that about Josh Allen, I feel like Riley Leonard is coming from a situation where he was asked to put on the cape every game.
Yeah, you're at Duke.
He was asked to put on the cape every game. How difficult of a transition is it going to be for him to not feel like, or will it be a relief for him to say, yo, whew, I'm so glad I don't have to put this cape on?
And that's where I think the challenge comes in, because now it's like doing too much instead of doing what your job is. If we are calling a play for you to get the ball to Chris Mitchell on a 10 and out route, we don't need you to make up something on the spot, run around the yard like 15 yards in a row and then make the throw. It's almost doing too much. We just need you to drop back, hit the guy on time, move on. And when you're so accustomed to being like, it maybe not be there, I gotta make something happen, that changes the game, and it can really mess up a team that's built on just doing your job, not built on being a superstar.
That right there is something that I think moving forward during the season is going to be very pivotal, right? Because we believe Steve Angeli is probably already in that mold, right? A quarterback that's just going to be able to do what he's asked to do. You get a
Right.
talent like Riley Leonard, like, do you ask him to do more? And coming from the place where he's used to putting on the cape in big moments, how does that translate to whether or not he can become clutch? Does he become Josh Allen in big moments? Meaning that he can make a great pass, but at the same time, he might not be careful with the ball, or he could throw a costly interception. That's the price of having those type of quarterbacks, right? I remember the
Yeah.
year that Deshaun won the championship with the Clemson Tigers. I think he had 17 interceptions. I mean, the man was throwing the ball 80 times in games,
Exactly. They're
right?
living and dying off of them.
Living and dying off of him, and people were criticizing him. I'm like, well, man, if you throw the ball 80 times and you throw 3 interceptions, it's like,
And you can give the perfect analogy of the Caleb Williams and Drake May. Drake May was the best player on his team, but Drake May never took the charge of, oh, we're winning and losing because of me. They put that charge on Caleb Williams. They put all of winning and losing on Caleb Williams, knowing he doesn't have a defense, knowing he doesn't have a secondary, knowing that the run game is suspect. But everything came down to winning and losing. But you look at somebody in that same position, I think like a Drake May, who is expected to be the best player, but plays more of a game manager role. Drake May's not going to give you necessarily the highlights of highlights every single game, but they're going to ask him and require him to be an important factor of winning. And that's all I want Riley to be, an important factor to winning. Before, when we won games, the quarterback was on like 3 or 4 importance. The importance of the quarterback and Riley Leonard and whoever gets in there, you got to be 2 or 3, if not 1B. Consistently. Because if you're giving us the 3rd best, 4th best effort or the production that we need, it's not going to be enough, because who else is it going to come from? The tight end can't do it all. Our receivers are still unproven. The running back led the team, but that's not enough. Not when you get in the high-scoring games. We're not going to have a running back get 5 rushing touchdowns and when we score 45 points. It's going to have to come from throwing the football. It's not... Until our running back, Jeremiah Love, starts throwing the football, he's not going to have 5 or 6. So I'm so concerned about Riley Leonard being that factor that we need to win. That's what's carrying us through.
Lucky Lucky Podcast. It is absolutely amazing that we can sit here and talk about the nuance of the game, the nuance of the position, the importance of the position that has the ball in their hands the vast majority of the time, and definitely on every play, whether it's both sides of the ball or both teams. And I'm kind of stuck, Left, because I want Kenny Minchie, CJ Carr, and Deuce Knight to exceed expectations and become the best that they can become, because we need to see that development at Notre Dame at quarterback position. It's something that we truly have not seen.
And we're going to be robbed of it again because because Riley Leonard's only here for a year. We're not going to see a development in this part of the season.
Yeah, that's true. I think if Riley Leonard was here for 2 years, the second year would probably be, man, you can book a Heisman. You can book him being in New York. You can book Notre Dame being in the playoffs and being a true contender, right? And because that's basically what we saw from Michigan, right? Win, lose, or draw, or regardless of how he played, they made the decision to move on from Cade McNamara, and it was J.J. McCarthy. This is our dude. This is our quarterback. This is the one that's going to get us over the hump. Which, by the way, J.J. McCarthy pops up in Mel Kiper's first mock draft. We're going to talk about that as well. That's a joke, in my opinion. But hey, it is what it is. Lucky Lefty podcast. But the strength of Notre Dame, Left, is that Notre Dame has proven to this point that they can compete with every program in the country except one. And that was, and I say was because Nick Saban is no longer the head coach of Alabama. That changes a lot of things for me.
Really? I mean, it seems like it's changed a lot for the players on the team as well.
Oh, heck yeah. Like
everybody thinks Kalen DeBoer may be a good coach and all that, but when it comes to putting your career on the line, they're not willing or believe yet fully that Kalen DeBoer can just replace Saban like that. And it shouldn't be that easy. I mean, Nick Saban's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I agree. And with saying that, Left, I think they've played Georgia in 2 close games. They've beaten Clemson. They've beaten USC. They played Ohio State down to the last snap and into the 4th quarter the year prior. Competing is not a problem. Being able to make the big plays in the biggest moments has been the issue. Whether it's the quarterback, wide receivers, safeties not catching interceptions when they have the opportunity.
I mean, man, they still talking about DJ Brown from that on. I mean, because we told you when it happened that would be the crux of the season moving forward. It would be hard to get over that no matter what we did moving forward. The fact that became a staple of that game.
Yeah. They talk about DJ Brown.
Because of it, it's just damn.
They talk about DJ Brown the same way they talk about Pete Bursich against Boston College in '93.
Yep.
It's the exact same conversation. And so that was the question of the day for Notre Dame fans. Like, do you feel Notre Dame needs a dude? A Deshaun Watson type? A Joe Burrow type? Or do you think
Joe Burrow type would be perfect? We don't have enough receivers to fit that, though.
I mean, Joe Burrow had a hell of he had a lot of help, bro.
A ton of help.
He had a ton of help.
But that also came from having 2 debatable #1 receivers. You got Tyler Boyd, who is like the perfect slot guy for you, because he can just do so much. It's one of those things, man, where I think Notre Dame has a potential of that. But then this comes down to the talent of the quarterback. Does Riley Leonard have enough talent, though, to disperse the football, to get a Bo Collins 40 catches, a Chris Mitchell around 60? You got Jeremiah Love getting involved, a tight end staying on pace of a 40, 50 reception year. Guys got to be able to feel like he can get it to them. If this is the Riley Leonard show where he's going to have 1,500 rushing yards, 2,500 passing, it's just a disservice to why we going so hard in the transfer portal.
See, Left, this is why it's so interesting and nuanced, right? Because the 3 guys they currently have in a room behind him, including Deuce Knight, they're all different. Deuce Knight is totally different than C.J. Carr. Kenny Minchie is totally different than both of those guys. So it's not like you have 3 of the same quarterbacks, right? But you think you can win with all 3 of those quarterbacks.
But it does beg the question as to what are we doing? Soon as Deuce Knight walk in that room, he's going to look around and they're going to look at him like, we clearly don't fit. Like there's no way you can tell me that the offensive coordinator in Denver is calling the same things for Deuce Knight that he is for C.J. Carr, that he even is for Kenny Minchie. So it's going to beg the question of we got to get on board as to what we're doing as an identity. Because I know that Deuce Knight isn't going to look at C.J. Carr playing, if he does or whatever, even Kenny Minchie playing, and saying, oh, those are the plays that are going to be called for me. Because I would look at it as a disservice. So there has to be Gino and Denbrock constantly feeding Deuce, constantly feeding CJ, just telling the room that maybe our offense is interchangeable. But you can't tell me it's going to be the same. because I'm not going to believe that. When you tried to convince us that Sam Hartman and Tyler Buckner run the same plays, hell, Sam Hartman and Steve Angeli didn't even run the same plays, and they're more alike than the other one. So it's going to be important that if we do have a quarterback by committee or quarterback carousel, then we need to identify what is the base of the offense. We can't just change the identity of the offense every time we change QB.
Yeah.
And because all our QBs are extremely different. I mean, we're talking about from a 40 standpoint, 4.8 to 4.5, 4.4 range in the room. That's a large range for a quarterback group. So that just tells you that what offense are you going to run with a quarterback that isn't as fast and then a quarterback that has a lot of speed? Guys that are very time-based versus guys that are playmakers. So how the receivers going to adjust to it? Because I remember, when I played, it was just something about whenever I got in, all the receivers got excited because they like, he going to throw it deep at least once or twice. Well, he going to throw it deep. He going to give us a chance.
Right.
But when Tommy got in, it's like, okay, Tommy going to provide us this and this and this. So we got to be on our P's and Q's. You got to be making sure we break, that whole thing. So even the team responds, that's what I'm getting to. The team responds differently to quarterbacks that are in the room and when they play, but it doesn't change unless the identity changes. So if we have a core foundation of what we want to do, running the football or throwing the football, then it needs to fit the quarterback that we have. If we're changing quarterbacks from Deuce Knight to CJ in a game, I just feel like it'll be hard to get the same chemistry. I don't believe CJ and Deuce are the same type of quarterback. That's like the dynamic of Tommy and Ev. Tommy and Ev were two completely different guys. Now, they made it work, but I think a lot of that was because Ev was really young and Tommy just had experience in different ways at that time that Ev didn't. But the talent, Ev could throw, Ev could throw over the stadium, to the moon, all that. But Tommy's going to get the ball, anticipation. You know how Tommy's going to do it. So I think that's an anomaly, but I also think it's experience that helped that situation.
I'm going to say this. I think there are multiple ways that Notre Dame can win to get over the hump with multiple type of quarterbacks. And I think that's the strength of Notre Dame being who they are from a program standpoint. From a program standpoint, that's like the strength of Notre Dame and where they sit. Bringing Mike Denbrock in, who has the skill set, as people have talked about in the chat, as you and Cam McDaniel have talked about playing under him, is that, this is a guy that gets the best out of the players that he has. He has a no excuse mentality. And so that's a benefit moving forward for Notre Dame. Because we're entering the no excuse era for Notre Dame under Marcus Freeman. The Stanford Marshall, unacceptable.
Unacceptable. But it's not destroying. It's year one.
Not walking on the field, destroying teams like Northern Illinois, unacceptable.
Oh yeah, hell no.
Unacceptable. Right?
Northern Illinois is gonna run the football. That's all they're gonna do.
Well, heck, if they have the same quarterback, they definitely can't throw it.
And it's funny because their head coach is a running back. He tells you. I had him this year at CBS. He was like, look,
yeah,
we're gonna run it till they stop us. He said, why are we looking to throw the football when we can run it till the air out the football?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's very nuanced when you ask the question. I thought it's very admirable of Steve Young to admit that he was a quarterback that needed help, that he does not put himself on the same level with the likes of Tom Brady, the likes of John Elway that did more with less. And as you get very few of those, you get a Trevor Lawrence, dude. The combination to go from Deshaun to Trevor Lawrence, Dabo must have been interceding and doing some really great things in life in that season, bro.
You say he's doing some really great things.
Yeah, hey, we know he's GC. But to
But
go to
Deshaun
Deshaun,
and Trevor are from the same state. You know, they probably got the same type of ties. That whole thing. Trevor's high school coach actually has a really good connection with Dabo because Julian, the guy that is like the #1 quarterback in the 25 class, that's his coach now.
mm-hmm.
So there's a huge connection there where it's like a pipeline. You know, I think it's a pipeline, and for Dabo to get so blessed, and that from having Taj, you can't forget Taj Boyd. He had DeAndre Hopkins. Then he gets him a Deshaun Watson for 4 years. Think about that. They was doing Taj Boyd like Kelly Bryant for Deshaun Watson. I'll never forget Deshaun Watson's breakout game against North Carolina because we had played North Carolina later that year. And he had like 400 yards or something like that as a true freshman. And so LaFleur is so funny. LaFleur was like, yeah, he's going to be all right when he gets. It's just so crazy how having stories with LaFleur, and now he's the head coach of the Packers. And how it all, you know, becomes transitionary. But I don't think Notre Dame is. I think if Notre Dame ever gets a Brady Quinn again, at this time and stage of what college football is, I think it'll be great for college football, and then the Notre Dame fan base will feel better about our championship runs.
It's take Brady Quinn. That's a great player to bring up. Brady Quinn did everything possible to beat USC. Brady Quinn had a fantastic game against USC. Led them down the field in the fourth quarter on a drive to take the lead. 4th and long, bro. All he needs is his defense to make one stop. That's it. 4th and goal. All he needs is his defense to make one stop. Or the last play of the game. Because I don't remember if it was 4th and goal. I think they got a first down on the line of scramble. And then they missed on first down, and then they eventually got it on the sneak. But that's the nuance, right? Because you can't sit back and be like, yo, Brady Quinn didn't do enough. Like, man, he left the field with his team ahead. A defense that had been pretty solid all day, considering they were playing against Jarrett, Liner, Bush, Lindell White. Yo, they kept Notre Dame in the game. They just couldn't get that one play. And this is what we're talking about, man. As painful as it was, it comes down to that, right? Were there plays that, Brady Quinn turned the ball over. Notre Dame turned the ball over. They didn't, always convert in the red zone, what you need to do against a team like USC. Man, we can go back and point out different things. The Reggie Bush, both of his touchdown runs. It's like, bad fits by the linebackers. We can talk about all of that. But at the end of the day, man, it really comes down to the fact somebody's going to have to be that dude.
Somebody's
going to have to be that dude. And it's not always, this is where I say it's unfair, Left. At some point, it's not going to be on Riley Leonard this year, but Riley Leonard's going to get the L if they lose.
Every time.
And that's what stinks.
If we lose, it's going to be Riley's name in the conversation as to why.
And, hey, as you said to me, he accepted the assignment and took the check.
And took the check. When you take the check, it is what it is, man. Ain't no feeling bad for you.
It comes with the territory. But the game is so nuanced, and the fact of the matter is Notre Dame is probably a Stetson Bennett away from getting over the hump, having a clutch quarterback. Heck, we said it. 10 had moments in every loss where he could have turned the tide of all 3 of those games.
Yeah.
if he just made a play or made a throw.
Yeah, he had to be the proponent as to why we won that Clemson game.
You know, when you're the quarterback, you have the opportunity, especially if you're playing on a good team, to change the trajectory of a game with a play, a throw, a decision. Like that pick six took the ball out of Audric Estime's hand.
Yeah.
We can say that. That pick six, which extended the lead, now possibly you take the ball out of the hands of Audric Estime, which allows you as the quarterback to be more efficient in the second half. And this is the impact of decision making and being the quarterback and playing to your team, right? And that's something that Riley Leonard, who's been used to having a red cape on, now has to learn. I just need to play to my defense. I need to play to my team. You know what?
But that also makes it harder because now it's like we're asking you not to lean on your instinct.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying, Riley Leonard, we believe that the player we're calling this route for is going to win, and you got to hit him on time.
Mm-hmm.
They're not telling him that at Duke. They're like, this is what we're presenting, and you make the best out of it. Now, when you have to be technical, it's not about your talent. It's about you playing and doing your job. So when they say we calling this 3rd and 8, hit this 10 and out on time because we know we're going to be open, we're not expecting you to drop back, run around, make 5 guys miss, because you're just taking away from what it takes to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
If we need a guy to just be a highlight factor, we've had all types of guys like that, but we need a guy that's going to win and be clutch when we need him to be. That's what makes it hard.
This goes back to what we said, right? Because the unfortunate thing with Notre Dame and the quarterback position in the portal is more than likely it's going to be a 1-year guy, which stinks. Because if you get a guy that can go into his 2nd year, you're going to get even better results the majority of the time, right? If Jack, we saw in his 1st year that Jack Cohn was clutch. You don't beat Virginia Tech, you don't beat Toledo, and you don't beat, who else was that? Florida State, without Jack Cohn being clutch. And I'm probably missing another game. So we knew the only game he wasn't clutch. But this is the thing. Even in the bowl game against Oklahoma State, when they got the ball back, I expected Notre Dame to win that game because Jack Cohn had been clutch in several moments during that season. And he just missed Lorenzo on that post route by this much.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
That's the before half, right?
No, that was at the end. That was in the end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
End of the game, he just missed Lorenzo Styles by that much. But he had that clutch gene. He had it in him. If he comes back the next year, they beat Ohio State in that first game. If Jack Cohn is the quarterback instead of Tyler Buckner on the road against Ohio State, they without a doubt, Notre Dame wins that game.
We win that
without a doubt. They win that game. That's the benefit of. So when we say, we wish Riley Leonard, people try to paint the picture that we don't like Riley Leonard. When we want Riley Leonard to be here for 2 years. If we didn't like him, we wouldn't be saying, man, we wish Riley Leonard could be here for 2 years, because then we would really get the return on investment.
That's right. We get the
transfer.
We're buying a house and selling it before it raises in value.
Right.
It's like, damn, we're not gonna let it double his money. We're just gonna take it as is and then try to reflip it. That's not making no money on our side unless we find a person that sees more value.
Yeah.
And wants to give us more than what we asking for or what it's worth, essentially.
Yeah.
We're not letting it stack his bread and get, we're just saying it quick flips. So for us, that's a risk.
Yeah.
If we're a real estate market, that's a risk. So that's not saying we don't like it. That's why we got it. If we didn't like it, we wouldn't have got it.
Jack Cohn might be the most clutch quarterback Notre Dame has had in the last 10 years.
A long time, yeah.
Dude, I mean,
from being in a position where the quarterback got to win the game, Jack Cohn's the only person that's really succeeded in that circumstance. When the chips.
Ian had a few moments. Ian had
which moments? He had the Clemson moment.
The Clemson moment was clutch to Avery
We were
Davis.
smacking USC at that time, so it wasn't like he was.
Yeah.
So the only moment he had where it was like chips are down, quarterback brings us back was Clemson.
Yeah.
Every other game we didn't win. Or every other game we were supposed to win.
Yeah, man. It is. I don't know. I think Riley Leonard is going to be fantastic, bro. Nobody's going to care.
I think he'll be good through the regular season. I don't think it'll be something where he's just a glaring mistake. He's not going to give us no, oh, why did we pick this guy up vibes. He's going to give us the vibes of, oh, man, this guy is rocking out. And then we'll overinflate his ability. And then week 8, because it's like you can't go by the first 4 or 5 games of the season because everybody's good coming the first 4 or 5 games of the season because you coming off of training, 2-a-days, your mindset been on nothing but football. You done took 5 million reps. You got money in the bank. As you get further and further from that training camp and further into having tests, I know Riley went to Duke, but the work's still the work. You still got to graduate. So you're going to be in that Club Hesburgh late night getting it in. How is that affecting you week 8, week 9, week 10, going into the playoffs, in the term semester? So, the gauntlet of managing a schedule like Notre Dame has got to be something he's thinking about as well. That takes a toll.
Yeah. And like we said, the schedule is you don't have the same gauntlet in the meat of the crust of the schedule. Like 10 had to go through this year.
No.
That Ohio State to Louisville run was crazy. That was crazy. But I think this is because we're going to talk about there are 3 things Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame have learned. Left.
3 things?
3 things. You know what Marcus Freeman had to learn?
He got to bring it every night.
Know what he had to learn? I can't be sitting up here talking about college national championships and college football playoffs without the horses. I think he's learned that.
Oh, yeah, without the horses, yeah.
I think he's learned that, right? Like, oh, yeah, man, this team is capable of this. This team game, yo, you need some horses, my brother.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk that talk, you need
some marquee players.
Yeah. You not only do you have to go recruit those horses, because it's nice to have some nice 4 stars, some upper echelon 3 stars.
Guys coming back.
Yeah, that's nice. But you got to go get some dudes, man. National championship teams have dudes. It's not just enough.
Where you go to media and they ask you about certain players.
Yes.
Not when you go up to media and got to tell them what you saw at practice.
Yeah.
When the media is like, hey, what you think about Ben Morrison? How he looking? Hey, Ben Morrison's first round. He's just doing what he does to help the team get better. But if you got to tell people about your players, especially your own reporters, that ain't bringing the excitement where, you go to Alabama, they like, Bryce Young got $1 million on his head.
Yeah.
And he ain't taking a snap yet. Yeah. What's that pressure like, Coach Saban? You been getting him ready, right? So I think that it would be nice if we had more preseason NFL draft prospects and that hype behind it going into a season where I think we'll have a lot of guys by the end of the season be on draft boards.
Yeah, I think they've learned that lesson in connection with that. I think they've learned some valuable lessons on the recruiting trail. I think Marcus Freeman, in connection with number 1, what we talked about, you need dudes. You just can't come in and say, yo, we want to execute. You see all of that execute. Fan base gets tired of hearing that in post-game press conferences after losses, bro. We just got to execute. Man, the execution wasn't there. Well, why isn't the execution there?
You're not practicing right?
Left. You know what's easy? You know what's easy to execute, Left?
Getting the ball to your best players.
Oh, this is what you know what the most unguardable shot in NBA history has been?
The free throw.
What, dude? That's
I thought you was being technical.
No, I'm just saying. Kareem's hook shot.
Oh yeah, easily sky hook, easy.
And you know what Magic Johnson did for 75% of his career?
Sky hook.
Walked the ball up court and passed it to Kareem.
Yep.
You know how easy and efficient of an assist that is, Left?
You go add up assists quick.
To pass the ball to the man that has the most efficient and unguardable shot in NBA history. You need dudes, man. You need dudes. You can have the greatest passer, the greatest quarterback. He needs dudes. So I agree with Steve Young. Every quarterback needs help. Now, some quarterbacks don't need as much. Those are the upper echelon greats, right? No, dude. And then Steve Young, he's a Hall of Famer. He could have a huge ego. Steve Young was like, hey, man, I needed all of those dudes around me to get me over the hump. We needed Dion to come in as a free agent and help me get a Super Bowl. I'm like, yo, I respect that. Because most quarterbacks are egotistical and won't even admit that.
I think a little of that is a little reverse psychology because Steve Young was that dude too now.
Yeah, but he couldn't get over the hump. Being that dude. And I understood he was in the shadow of a great one. He was in the shadow of Joe Montana. And Joe Montana got over the hump with those same dudes. So that was tough. That was tough to have to deal with. But it's like, yo, it is what it is. The quarterback at Notre Dame is going to need some help, Left. Because remember, for a long time, Notre Dame fans are like, yo, we just need a quarterback. That was the hysteria behind 10 when he came to Notre Dame, right? Oh, we finally got a quarterback. But did you get a dude?
Yeah, I think they dampened 10 and the perception behind it dampened we need a quarterback to fix all our problems. Because when we got the guy we thought we needed, not only did it show that it wasn't the guy we got that we thought we needed, but also that it may be a bigger picture that we're missing as to why it's not happening the way we feel like it should. So when you're in a situation that you say in the quarterback's the solution, we get the number one guy you can get for what we needed. And then you go into the season, you don't use him as much, you don't use him in the moments that you got him for, he doesn't win those games. Then you start taking a step even further back and saying, okay, well, he didn't have his offensive coordinator, the style of play wasn't really fitting him, so we had almost unrealistic expectations for him, but then overhyped the value of his talent. So it was complete disorganization top to bottom. But the thing that stands over everything is if you win football games or if that talent shows overall. And I think we correctly define his level of talent in terms of tier quarterback we thought going in. So when you're 1 for 3 out of your big games that we signed you for, okay, now we can ask that question, what's going on deeper?
Yeah, and I think connected to that, this is even nuanced, and this is just only the first thing I believe Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame learned. They recognized that. They said, we went out and got a quarterback last year. We didn't get him help. We didn't get him a dude. We rolled with what we had. And that was a mistake. So they said this year we're going to go out and get the quarterback, but not only that, we're going to go out and get the help. We're going to get some help as well. See, Marcus Freeman, it's that they learn, man. They learned their lesson. Like, yo, my grandfather used to always tell me that. Because my grandfather was never a stickler about if you messed up and made a mistake. His big question to us was, did you learn anything?
Right.
Because if you didn't learn anything, now we got a problem.
Now we got a problem.
Because that means we're going to be back in the same position. Once again, you got to learn something so you can evolve and get a little bit better. Notre Dame and its coaching staff, they've learned. Like, we just can't go get the quarterback and bank on the quarterback. We got to go get some help. We have to go get a Chris Mitchell. We have to go get a Bo Collins, right? We have to change the wide receiver room and recruitment. Up to ante and that. We were blessed to get a Jordan Faison. We never saw that coming.
Never saw it coming.
No, never saw that coming. And we have to up the ante and stop having our wide receivers injured and go get a new guy that's all about the things.
Oh, the strength coach. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
This is Marcus Freeman learning his lessons. Like, yo, these are all of the issues that are plaguing us, and we have to find a way to counter these things to make sure they don't happen again. Lucky Lefty podcast. Second lesson Marcus Freeman has learned. Hey, bro, being a head coach in Notre Dame is different. If you thought you knew, now you know.
Now you know.
But the conversations that he's had with Jack Swarbrick and Pete Favakwa allows him to understand that he is not making excuses, nor is he going to settle. The previous head coach just took it and settled and resigned the program to the fact that we are incapable of going after top talent.
Yeah.
He made it up in his mind. I'm not even going to fight for it. I'm not going to push back. Marcus Freeman, subtly or out finesse, however he's done it, has been able to spit that game. As Biggie would say, spit your game, talk your. Hey, Marcus Freeman has been able to do that, to get through to the administration, to get through to people. Like, yo, we need money for this. We need to invest in this. I'm going to need some leniency in this. We're going to have to open up to NIL a little bit more.
Yeah, do you think he's the one that says we need X amount of dollars to do this, or is it something else?
I think, dude, the way Notre Dame operates, Notre Dame probably knows what it takes without Marcus Freeman. And please, Notre Dame has the capologist of all capologists when it comes to handling money.
Oh, you talking about capologists? Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, they got capologists for like how this should be allocated to this department, that department. Man, are you kidding me?
But those are non-football people making that.
Notre Dame can raise it quick and spend it slow. That is Notre Dame.
Man, raise it quick, stash a third of it, and then spend it slow.
They can raise it very quickly and then spend it very slow. Yeah. And honestly, everybody should want to do that in their personal lives. Make the money quick and spend it slow.
Spend it slow.
Spend it slow. So they are the good stewards. Like, if Jack Swarbrick wasn't lying.
Wasn't lying.
He was not lying. They are the good stewards of college football.
Yeah, he's like, look, we're going to show you how to save this money out here and still get stuff done and still make more than y'all. We're going to show you how we can make more than you and spend less and do more than you.
Man, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. Thirdly, the third lesson that has been learned by Marcus Freeman and this staff. You're going to have to do the most to get the top guys. They've learned the lesson, Left. I think they've learned the lesson. I think they lost some guys, especially in that 23 class, because everyone was kind of treated the same, Left. Right?
Yeah.
And when the fight got dirty, they kind of took the place of, we really don't have to, right?
Yeah.
When the fight got dirty with Dante Moore, they kind of took the place of,
we'll just look somewhere else.
CJ Carr wants to come, so we'll just take CJ.
Yeah, we'll take the path of least resistance.
And they were willing to not have a quarterback in the class. I mean, they went after some guys late, but they were willing to say, yo, we got CJ coming next year. And Kenny Minchie just happened to call. It just fell into their laps, right? Well, when everything got sticky with Dante and they were asked to fight a little bit harder, they were kind of like, you know, when they were asked to fight a little harder. Remember, Keon Keeley was like, I'm decommitting, but I still want to consider you guys. And they were like, well, we'll just move on. And I think they're learning, like, okay, if we want these kids that are top 50 kids, top 100
we can't just
kids,
move on as fast.
When the going gets tough, we just can't move on, man. That's the price of going after top talent, dude. I mean, you might lose them.
Might lose them.
You flat out might lose them. Hey, and if you lose them, then okay, we have to go to the transfer portal for this position. But you said you want to come in and go after the elite talent. That's what you said as a defensive coordinator. That's what you said as a head coach. You want to build a staff where we're going after the top talent, where we're not satisfied. We're relentless. That's fine. So when it comes to a Nathaniel Owusu Boateng at IMG, a school that normally Notre Dame doesn't get a kid from, this is a dogfight. If things start looking a little tough, don't back out. Fight. Fight. Chris Burgess Jr. Ohio State is not going to stop. Alabama's not going to stop coming after Chris Burgess Jr. They're not. Fight to keep him in the class. I don't think he's going to flip. But fight, because people are going to come after Deuce Knight. Fight. If Deuce decides to take an official, fight. If you take an official somewhere else, where we
don't do the salty thing. Yeah, don't do the salty thing.
Don't do that.
Just fight. Don't do the salty thing, because that's not going to help.
No, it doesn't help at all. It doesn't help one bit. Fight. This staff, I believe, has learned that lesson, Left.
That's right.
There are some other things I had in the running. I just wanted to do 3. But I think the staff, man, they've learned their lesson. And I think they're all in on the top players in the 25 class. I really do. I think they're in it to the end. They're in it to the fight. I don't think they're going to get weary in their well-doing. And I think Notre Dame, if I had to guesstimate, I had this conversation last night. From the guys that were at junior day this past weekend, I feel comfortable saying Notre Dame is going to get minimum 6 of those kids that were there that are not committed.
6?
6.
Man,
6.
that's a lot.
They're going to get 6 of those kids that were not committed on the trip. So that puts them at right about 20 commits in the class. Comfortably, where I feel. With 5 more spots to fill during the summer and the season in the fall. Left, that's a top 5 class.
Yeah.
If Notre Dame has truly learned their lessons, we should see a top 5 class from Notre Dame this time next year. Period.
And it would translate on the field too, not just on the recruiting boards.
Man, look, it is what it is. And of course, you have to deal with, recruiting sites feeling like, oh, we're going to drop this kid because he committed to Notre Dame. It happens every year. Just for no reason.
Every year.
We had 2 5-stars and then we had people drop.
And then they decommit and then get a star when they decommit. How you gain a star when you decommit, go somewhere else?
Man, look. Lucky Lefty podcast. Hey, Left, I'm excited, bro. Did you know that? I'm excited. You know why?
Why is that?
Mel Kiper dropped his first mock draft.
Uh-oh.
You know who the Bears got in his mock draft? This is why I'm happy, Left. Because, you know, I'm cool with keeping Justin Fields, you know, getting 2 more first-round picks next year, you know, building a team around him. I'm cool with that. But you know what else I'm cool with, Left? I'm cool with the Bears getting Caleb Williams at 1 and Rome Odunze at 9. Oh, I'm loving that. Oh, I'm loving that.
It's not bad.
Oh, give it to me, boy. Give it to me. If I'm perfectly fine leaving that first night of the draft.
No Joe Alt?
Hey, Joe Alt went before him in the mock draft. The Bears at 9, Joe Alt went at 7.
Oh, okay.
So I can't be mad at that. If Joe Alt was there, we can have a discussion. He wasn't there. Did you give me Caleb Williams and Rome? I'm straight. I'm straight. You get no argument from me.
So what if they keep Justin, go Joe Alt and Odunze?
Now, if they keep Justin, they're probably going to they're probably trading down to 2 or 3, right? Because they're not going to trade beyond. No, they're probably trading down to 4,
right?
At the most, right?
Because somebody's going to want Caleb.
Yes, so they have to come up to the 1, but you're probably the least you want to go down is 4 to assure yourself that you get Marvin Harrison.
Joe Alt or
no,
Marvin.
You get Marvin Harrison.
Okay. So you rather go Marvin because he'll be closer in the top 5 than the.
Oh yeah, I'm not passing. If I'm trading off Caleb, I'm not passing on Marvin Harrison.
Okay, so you think Marvin? Okay,
unless you do 2 trades, unless you love Rome Odunze and you're cool with him because you already have a number 1. You get Rome Odunze, and you know a team wants to trade up to get Marvin Harrison, and you pick up even more picks. And let's say you move down to 6 or 7, and now you take Joe Alt and Rome Odunze. I'm cool with that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm telling you is,
if they can't mess this up.
If Ryan Pohl screws this up, he stinks. He just flat out stinks as a GM. This is a win-win situation for the Bears. Win-win. Because if they stay at 1, they're trading Justin. And they're probably getting a 2nd-round pick and a 4th for Justin Fields. It's a win-win situation. If he flat out messes this up as a GM, he is one of the worst, bro. He is Jerry Krause. You know why I say that? You know why I say that? Jerry Krause had the 2nd and 3rd pick in an NBA draft. And you know who the Bulls ended up with? Eddie Curry and Tyson Chandler.
Tyson Chandler's not bad though.
He's not a number 2 overall, 2nd overall.
Yeah, like a 10-year career, not bad.
Come on, bro.
10-year career.
If you give me a 2nd pick, I need an Anthony Edwards, bro. I don't need Tyson Chandler.
See, that's not fair.
Hey, life is not fair, bro. Life is not fair, and then it's fair.
Okay.
He had the 2nd and 3rd picks in the NBA draft and an opportunity to prove that he's an elite GM without Michael Jordan, and he failed miserably.
Eddie Curry wasn't that bad either, though.
Come on, Left. I watched Eddie Curry in a high school game score 2 points in a state championship at 7 feet. Stop. I could have told you Eddie Curry was soft before he got to the NBA. Everybody in Chicago knew. He's from the suburbs. He's soft. That's all I'm saying. And Jerry Krause still took it. Ryan Poles, you can't mess this up. Can't mess it up. So it went Caleb Williams is 1. Here is the thing, Left. Jaden Daniels has replaced Drake May as the 2nd quarterback, according to Mel Kiper.
Thank goodness. At least we're getting some realism in there.
They have Jaden Daniels.
I still don't think that Drake May's far off, but at least I hope that's being considered from what he's done, not just because he's a prospect, you know.
Yeah.
Winning the Heisman how he did, you know, and not making the playoffs, you definitely show as a standalone you deserve to be in the top 3. I mean, come on, that's just respect.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Drake May is 3. Marvin Harrison is 4. Malik Neighbors is 6. Joe Alt 7th to the Tennessee Titans. Dallas Turner goes 8 to the Falcons. The Bears come back at 9 with Rome Odunze. And Olu Fashanu goes to the Jets from Penn State. Nate Wiggins out of Clemson goes to the Vikings at 11. We have some other Latu to the Broncos. Terrion Arnold from Alabama to the Raiders. I want to go all the way down left. The 16th pick, J.J. McCarthy to the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle, if you take J.J. McCarthy with the 16th pick, you have just set your team back at least 3 years.
Easily.
And I know Geno might not be the guy, but J.J. McCarthy is not it. That's not it.
Not at 16.
No.
He's an Ian Book pick. Get him 4th round. You know. He'll be on all of that. But I just don't see where but then again, that's the market. You go 27-1 at a major university. You win a national championship. You beat Ohio State, the big bad bully, 3 times in a row. You know, sometimes you just have locked yourself into a first round. Mm-hmm. Regardless. Like they just out of respect. So it's nothing, I mean, do I think it's gonna turn into something of him being a full-time starter? Absolutely not. But this is the way they do it now. They draft them high, like a Brandon Whedon. Let them fizzle out in the first year and a half. Let them fly under the radar, be a backup for 12 years, and make some good money. I mean, hell, look at the Buffalo Bills quarterback roster. You got the classics. Kyle Allen from Houston, Texas A&M. Shane Buechele, the 5'11" quarterback from Texas. Yeah, Jake Fromm on there. I mean, come on, these guys aren't looking to overtake Josh Allen. These are all his friends. So yeah, there's you know how it goes.
Yeah, left.
It's a nice retirement package.
Yeah, Kamari Lassiter. Somebody asked about Coleman. Kamari Lassiter out of Georgia, the defensive back, is mocked to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And my guy Jazon Newton, defensive tackle out of Illinois, is in the 20s in the mock draft. 7 offensive tackles in the first round left. Mel Kiper has 7 offensive tackles being taken in the first round of the NFL draft.
Wow.
And the Bears still want to stick with Braxton Jones.
The Bears gonna bear.
And you ain't lying about that. Lucky Lefty podcast. When we come back, we're going to get into some shady business. And then we're going to talk about some great players and Notre Dame being relentless with 25 offers. Even when they have 2 guys at a certain position, they're not satisfied. They're learning their lessons, ladies and gentlemen. Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different. We're back, Lucky Lefty podcast. ONORA Boys in the building, brought to you by Nora Whiskey, Apple Podcast, Spotify. Lock in. Audio edibles each and every day. Subscribe to the YouTube. The thumbs up, smash it for us. We greatly appreciate it. It's the Lucky Lefty podcast. Left. Let me tell you something, man. I am consistently impressed with Little Left.
That's right.
I told you he's a star.
Yeah, he answered the phone today, huh?
Man, I called Left, ladies and gentlemen. I called Left today, and Little Left literally held a conversation with me. I'm kidding. I kid you not. And Malik finally came to the phone, and I was like, dude, he was handling it. Like he was handling it.
Yeah, I mean, he's
I was like, yo,
know how to navigate some stuff, man. He out there just holding his own, that's for sure.
Dude, he answered the phone like a G.
What he's
He do. Like, I mean, the phone picked up like normal, and he was like, "Hello." I'm like, and you know me, I clicked in. I'm like, "Yo, what's up, little Left?" I'm like,
yeah.
Where's your dad?" And he was like, "Dad?" I was like, "Yeah, where's your dad?" He was like, like he was thinking about it, like he was trying to figure out the answer. And I'm like, "Yo, this dude is ahead of his time, man.
Oh man, you know.
This dude is an old soul, boy."
Yeah, you gotta talk to your kids a lot, man. It's crazy. You know how it's just how it happens so fast. They go from being like the babies you always gotta check on every 5 seconds to they start telling you what they want, and you like, when did you start learning how to do anything? Right. You're like, I've been with you every day. When did you just start learning how to, put things in a microwave or something? Like, how did you know what I mean? So I think that's really cool, man, because he's definitely trying to get on the show or get his own show.
Oh, I was like, yeah, this kid has greatness in front of him.
That's right.
Yeah, nothing phases him. He answered the phone like, well, "Yo, if he had, I would have passed out if he said, 'What's up?'"
He'll say it sometimes. I probably didn't catch him on a good day. He was watching Coco Melon or something.
He was just flat out like, "Hello." I was like, well, first of all, I know this is not Left, number one. Number two, I'm just like stuck with the confidence he answered the phone with. Like,
oh yeah, he's not shy.
We know that. No, LL fans know that on a daily basis. He has no problem.
Just come up and be
no
like,
problem popping in the camera like, "Yo, what's up, y'all?" I'm here for my daily my cameo. But no, Lucky Left,
can't forget about me, man.
I just had to share that, man. That was, dude, that moment was priceless for me this morning. I was like, "Yo, this kid is something else."
That's right. His birthday's coming up too, so maybe that's what.
Oh, word?
Yeah, April 19th, man. April 19th.
No. His birthday is April 19th.
That's
4
right.
days. That's why I love the kid. He's an April baby. And now I understand. Now I clearly understand his greatness. Now I clearly understand. April 19th, April 23rd. I understand his greatness.
It's right there.
Hey,
when as soon as you said how important it was, what was it, 2-3 years ago when the spring game, you said there's two important things happening: the spring game and my birthday.
That's it.
I said there's something about April birthdays, and then you high right there.
It's the three things every spring: Lil Left, and my birthday.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lucky Lefty podcast. So let's get to some shady business. Can we get to some shady business before we talk about
it?
These wide receivers and running backs?
That's right.
Man, check this out, Left.
Went to the Warriors. He's speaking on the GOAT conversation. Why is he not in the GOAT conversation? I think KD is one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen. The way KD scored the ball is so effortless. He's never seen a bad shot. Like, he's going to get you 31 points on 14 shots. That is a normal KD night. Obviously, I'm not one that's going to be like, KD's championships aren't real. Stop it. There's no championship that's not real. Steph didn't get the credit that Steph gets today until 2022 when he led this team to a championship and won the finals MVP. When all else was failing, Steph said, "All right, fellas, come on, let's go there." Period. You got to go do what Steph did to get to that conversation.
Draymond, what you said was so stupid. Can we stop using the title scorer when we talk about Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant is one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
That's right.
Stop. He's one of the greatest basketball players. Stop this. He's one of the greatest scorers. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
That's right.
Okay. You know the reason Steph had to prove what he had to prove against the Celtics in the finals? Because
he had KD.
Because you went and got KD because you knew darn well that you couldn't beat LeBron without him.
That's right.
See, because when you beat LeBron, Kyrie was hurt. Kevin Love was hurt. He didn't have his help. But when he had his help, he took down that 73-win team in the finals.
Without KD.
And according to reports, you left the arena after Game 7, hopped in the car, and called KD. So now you want to erase KD from being part of the GOAT conversation, regardless of whether or not you disagree. The man has 2 MVPs. Steph didn't have those MVPs. Steph wasn't the best player on that team.
And Steph was on the team. Yeah.
The only reason KD didn't get 3 championships and 3 MVPs is because he tore his Achilles. What are we really talking about? Your legacy is on the back of Kevin Durant.
And Steph.
Draymond Green and Steph. And you want to try to minimize another man's legacy after your entire legacy is built on the back of 2 players?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I know they say don't shoot the messenger, but I'm taking full aim in the scope today. You got to go down. You got to go down for this one, bro.
That's right.
What are we talking about? He's one of the greatest players to ever play. We've never seen a 7-footer that can shoot like him, dribble like him.
Well, now we got Wemby.
Well, I was about to say, we're hoping Victor Wembanyama can be that.
That brother can.
I need it consistently. I don't need 33 against Joel. Well, first of all, 33 against Joel when he dropped 70 on you really don't mean a darn thing.
It honestly. Don't. It don't.
He had 33. 70. Yeah, but he dropped 70, fam.
It just erases anything that you could talk about.
It's almost like you didn't even play that night.
No, yeah, you ain't. No.
That great Michael Parks, that's great. That's like Dennis Rodman saying, yeah, Scottie Pippen, you know, he's a great defender, you know, but, you know, he's one of the greatest defenders of all time. No, Scottie Pippen's one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah. Don't minimize his talent.
Don't minimize his talent, man. Because your talent is minimized to just being a rebounder and defender. That's who you are.
You're trying to add the whole bad boy like that's intangible. That's not a basketball stat.
Oh, dude. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. Left, can we watch some film? Notre Dame made an offer yesterday to a kid out of the state of Texas, Michael Terry III from Alamo Heights High School. And you know why this is interesting, Left? It's interesting because we said Notre Dame needs chess pieces during our show on Monday. And then they go and make an offer. I swear they must be listening to the show, Left.
That's what they do to tune in before their coaches meeting. They check our show.
And we said they need a Percy Harvin type, Left. And they go out and they get a kid that had more rushing yards as a running back than he did as a receiver. We want to check out Michael Terry III right here.
Yeah, let's check out Michael Terry III, man.
Man, look, I'm sorry about that. Michael Terry III. This kid is really awesome, man. Love his film, love his ability. I love his size, Left. I started over for you guys. Michael Terry III, Alamo, out of San Antonio, Texas. They use him in the backfield. Look at that. 6'3", 210, Left. You like those measurables?
Yeah, already. 6'3", 210. He might be a little slow when he gets to college unless he slims down, but just the fact that he moves with a quickness. He moves with an urgency.
That size, yes.
Yeah, it is not like he's slow moving. He's catching it.
I agree with you totally. And he plays defensive back, Love. Look at this. Physical, defensive back, catch it, take off. These were football players, Left. That was another thing. Marcus Freeman has been targeting that man that can just play football. They don't have to have all these great stats, but they can play the game. He's in the backfield now. Look at these moves. That's 6'3", 210 at running back. Some pretty good feet, Left. Some pretty good feet at 6'3", 210. As a playmaker, man. This kid can be a chess piece. move him all over the field. He could be a Debo Samuel type for Notre Dame, man. That's what I see. 6'3", 210, big physical. Nice post route right there. His quickness off the line, for him to have quickness off the line at that size as well, very impressive. Like I said, once again, I'm just impressed with his feet, man. It's a talented young man. Michael Terry III, San Antonio, Texas, Alamo. Chris O'Leary was down there. He actually made the offer to the young man. When I tell you the entire world is after this kid, Texas, Texas A&M, Georgia, Alabama, Washington, Oregon, everybody's on this kid. And this is what we just talked about. Get in the fight. Hey, be willing to fight for top talent. He is the #2 athlete in the country, according to 247 Sports. He's ranked 62nd nationally, ranked 102nd on another platform. So let's just bite the difference. He's a top 75 kid nationally. And Notre Dame is like, yo, Mike Brown, once again, is like, yo, let's go get this dude. Once again, a kid with suddenness to his game at size. But I love the fact that this is a new dimension that he'll give Notre Dame. A brand new dimension with this type of kid and this type of talent. As I said before, they use him in the backfield. Now he's in a wildcat, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine him standing next to Deuce Knight? Can you imagine him standing next to C.J. Carr? Making a decision of who we're going to follow. Who are the linebackers going to lock in on? I was talking to B. Driscoll. B. Driscoll was like, he's a running back, right? I'm like, no, I think this kid is everything. Dude, he's flat out everything and can be everything. He can be a chess piece for Notre Dame football moving forward. Once again, Michael Terry III, San Antonio, Texas, Alamo. Consensus 4-star, potential to be a 5-star. Everybody's after him, all the top programs. Mr. Do-It-All on the football field. Heck of an athlete, #2 athlete in the entire nation in the class of 2025. Lucky Lefty podcast. Man, you have to love that kid. That's great talent, Left. That's great talent at that position. Now we go to another kid. Now, this kid is definitely intriguing, Left, because we already have one kid playing for IMG. And now we have Raiden Vines Bright, 6'1", 185, kid out of Arizona. He's transferring to IMG. Kid runs a 10.7 100. Offers from all of the big schools on the West Coast, Alabama, Washington, Oregon, 1,200 receiving yards, 53 receptions. He was the best player in the state of Arizona in the 6A, which is one of the highest ranked classes in the state of Arizona. And this kid is absolutely amazing within himself, is once again going to IMG along with Nathaniel Owusu, Boateng. Let's check out his film. Ladies and gentlemen, 6'1", 185. Dude, this young man has what Braden Lindsey couldn't get until his final year at Notre Dame. He has an incredible release package. He really does. He can play every position, field, boundary, slot. Once again, chess piece. If you wanted a player that could be Jaden Greathouse with speed, we're talking about this young man right here. Once again, best player in Arizona, now transferring to IMG. Everybody's on him. Notre Dame has done a really good job. Mike Brown was already on the kid, recruiting him at Wisconsin So once again, Mike Brown was a great hire because of the communication and relationships he had built up with most of the guys that Notre Dame wanted. Look at this, man. Quick screen, the speed, 10-7, 100 meter, like we said. This young man is a great player. He's a flat-out great player. Like I said, he play boundary, slot, field. You get him in space and suddenness. Look at that release. Great release off the line. Great. It's one of the best part of his games. And if you're going to give him cushion, okay, we can make that up quick. Slant, pow, to the house. To the house. I love the fact that Notre Dame is not settling, ladies and gentlemen. They're not settling. If they don't get the kid, they're in the fight. Notre Dame was not in the fight with these kids.
That's right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, love.
Okay, I was trying to put my input on the Terry kid, but
Go
yes,
ahead. Go ahead.
About Terry, real quick, I just love the fact that he's versatile at his size. Like you said, he's standing next to the quarterback at 6'2" and can catch it, run it out the backfield, run routes, run a wildcat. That's the Percy Harvin type of player that you're looking for with that size. Him and Deuce Knight back there is a combination hasn't seen in college football. And then you come to a kid like this who can be versatile on the outside at his size. Not just the inside, but the outside, especially a boundary receiver. That's a go-to guy. And to have a go-to guy be able to be as fast as he is off the ball, that's going to add to the short yardage that we're going to need in these one-on-ones when teams try to take away the run game. Now you got to worry about a guy that can play outside at a smaller size, getting down the field or getting those quick outs or quick routes to catch the football and turn a 5 to a 15, 15 to a 20. So to be able to be versatile with a guy like Terry, turn around and be able to get these first down with a guy like this is something that when you talk about weapons, we will never have a Sam Hartman situation again where we feel like we got the guy, but not the guys around him. If we're going to have a guy or a dude at the quarterback position, we're going to have the dudes around him because they can make plays to help him.
Left, I couldn't agree with you more. Our wide receiver core needs to become the double Dutch core or the double Dutch room of college football. You know what I mean by that, Left? If you ever go watch the girls in the neighborhood doing double Dutch, you used to hear things like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. That's what we need to hear from these wide receivers, from the play-by-play guy. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, cross midfield. Yeah, we need that. We need big plays. They need to sound like the double Dutch call. That's what we need from these wide receivers in this wide receiver room. We need big plays, explosive plays.
That's what I keep saying, going back to the type of offense of the behind the line of scrimmage, throwing the football, quick routes, taking some shots deep, because you have so many talented guys that can do so many things behind the line of scrimmage. It's not complicated to get a guy to football behind the line of scrimmage because he can take it to the 5, 10, 15, 20. And then you do some shots down the field vertically. You do some over routes when they're so concerned about chasing guys all around, sideline to sideline. The unlimited aspect that you can do with some of these guys shows that Notre Dame is growing as an offense and also acknowledging where they lacked at. We didn't have enough of those players to make the type of changes on the offense, or we pigeonholed them. If we got to always go to resorting, taking guys that are already in one position and flipping them to different positions, a Chris Tyree, a CJ Sanders, an Amir Carlisle, right? A Rico Flores, a Kevin Austin, Xavier Watts, the list goes on guys that were recruited for one thing and we're turning them into something else. Well, now we got guys that are coming in doing the things that we need to so we don't have to convert guys. Our offense has been nothing but converting players that we almost, I guess, misrecruited. It feels like we got the wrong idea on the value of their recruitment initially. if we're always inverting and interchanging players. Like, so I think it'll be interesting to see now. We're bringing in guys that can do those things to where we'll have the depth. Now we'll see a guy go from year 1 to year 3 playing the slot. Like a Chris Fink. It's always funny, the walk-ons are the only ones that get a true development of playing in the same position. Chris Fink played slot throughout his whole career and got better by the time he was a senior. Didn't switch over, didn't convert, just got better in that spot. And I think that is a result of being consistent in one place instead of a Mayor Carlisle who's running power against Purdue one week. Now he's playing slot receiver,
Running power out of the end zone, fam.
I formation,
Oh, my dude.
Big old George, big old running backs. We got Amir going in between the tackles. So he go from that to now you put him on the outside catching bubbles and all type of stuff. See, it just shows. So now I do think Denbrock has a lot on his hands. It's one thing to not have anything, but then to have too much of something is not always good either. So We'll see what happens.
Lucky Lefty podcast. So last but not least, look, this cat Dylan McCullough is just relentless. He doesn't care left. Because we heard that Notre Dame has Justin Thurman and have Daniel Anderson. They got their 2 running backs. 2 speedy running backs, top-notch running backs, 4 stars, both of them. They're locked in. They're good to go. And this cat Dylan McCullough goes to, visits James Simon from Calvary Baptist Academy in Shreveport, Louisiana, left. 25 kid. Yo, look. What Dylan McCullough continues to do, left, is just insane, man. I think he feels like there's no one that he can't recruit at the position at Notre Dame. Just flat out. I think he feels like he can get any running back in the nation to commit to Notre Dame. And, he has 2 dudes already. He's just relentless. Like, I can get this dude. James Simon, Shreveport, Louisiana. He's willing to go beat LSU. Big physical kid, man. Big physical kid. Good speed. Good quickness.
He runs a little high, but you can tell he's not breaking speed, meaning he's not afraid of contact. He's running as if he wants you to catch him, not that he's running to make contact. This is a kid that loves the open field run. He's going to hit the hole. He's going to go full speed. And that's what you want to see. The size is obviously impressive. I think, like you said, Dylan McCullough does a great job of recruiting guys with length at the running back position, which is a little different. Sometimes you get these stocky, smaller running backs. He's getting guys with length. Guys that look a little taller on average, but have a lot of dynamic ability. You see a power cut. He's one juke type of guy, but he's getting vertical fast. And that's what you love to see. Breakaway speed is always what you judge a running back off of. How does he separate in the open field? He's not afraid to hit the hole. I just think he runs a little high. He'll get better with that, especially when he sees bigger, guys he's coming through. But other than that, he's not a guy that's taking a lot of time. That's what you call drill work. Cone cutting, one cut. Got a little creativity out there. Just an exciting player. You can tell that wants to be added to Notre Dame. And you just love the suddenness in his game. Tough guy. Like the recruit, like where we're trending as a running back room. This is like the Jeremiah Love archetype, right? It's a guy with a lot of length. Gets there in a hurry. And he's not allowing the first guy to make contact. Not just not letting the first guy bring him down. The first guy is not even making contact. He's got quick cuts. He's looking to go to the house each and every time. Tough running back, man. Like what I see.
And once again, James Simon, Calvary Baptist out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Of course, LSU, all the SEC schools are on him. Left this film. This isn't even his junior film. Left, this is sophomore year. He was doing this as a sophomore in the state of Louisiana. Fantastic running back, great feet, good speed. Doesn't have like elite break, but I mean, when he gets out in the open, no one really catches him. And like you said, look at that. You talked about that. You said early on from the first play, you can tell he doesn't avoid contact and doesn't slow down. And the physical play, along with the 6 foot, 200-pound frame, he's probably going to add to that. Have to be impressed with what you see from this young man. He can get
some guys when they meet contact, their head goes down to embrace it. He keeps his eyes and head up, and he's trying to make you miss. So that's a good trait to have as a running back. When a guy's trying to lower his shoulder, you getting in a closed space, and you're not putting your head down. You're seeing what they're trying to hit, and you're still trying to make you miss in traffic. Is an elite ability. Like Audrey, that's the man. He ducking his head. He can just go take on contact. He's gonna take a lot to bring him down. Him in a tight space with guys trying to duck their head, he's gonna make them miss because they're ducking and he keeps his head up. That's a very good trait to have as a running back. And because of that, you don't need a ton of speed because most defenders, they're just looking to make contact on you. And if you can make guys miss in close space because guys are ducking and you're keeping your head up, you're doing a great job of creating extra yards on your runs.
Left, this young man makes me feel like Dylan McCullough has audacity to him. Kahunas, Left.
Yeah.
The nerve. You don't come down here in the backyard of LSU and take a running back after you already have 2 running backs in your 25 class. Like Dylan McCullough was like, yo, he's not satisfied. Everybody in that running back room is on notice. Like, I'm recruiting dogs every year. A kid like this is a message to everybody on the current roster. Like, hey, another dog coming. If we can get him, already have 2 in the class. I'm trying to get a 3rd. I'm trying to have a room full of dogs. James Simon, Calvary Baptist, Louisiana, 25 running back. I love the audacity of this 25.
I like Frank McCarty's comparison to TJ Yeldon. He definitely looks like a TJ Yeldon type because he runs high up, but he's also a guy that's trying to make you miss and doesn't have elite speed, but he's a tough running back, though. You know, he's one of the tough guys.
Yeah, TJ Yeldon. We didn't see any clips of him really in the passing game, so I would like to see that, you know, from his junior film. Can't wait to see his junior film and see what he does in his senior season. But if he can add the passing game, this kid is, he's absolutely amazing. You know, and if they can get him in the class, you know, I'm not sitting there saying, I mean, Justin Thurman and Daniel Anderson, I love them both. Love them both. But hey, this kid, he could be one of them ones. He's pretty good, Left.
And then it still goes back to what's the identity of Notre Dame's offense? What's the identity? You got a staple full of running backs that need the football. But you got guys transferring in at receiver that need the football. Which way you going? What's the percentages look like? Is it 70-30, 60-40? You got to go to the strength of the team when the chips get down. Who do you lean on? I think you're on mute.
I mean, heck, Justin Thurman runs a 4.3 already. He's already in the class. You add this kid.
Runs a 4.3 already. That's crazy.
Justin Thurman runs a 4.3 already, bro. I don't know if we've seen speed at running back in Notre Dame like that.
Look
Not,
at how that
not
it
4-3.
translated for the guy we lost that went to Colorado as a true freshman.
Well, he didn't have
Dylan
an
Edwards.
offensive line. I think I would like to see Dylan Edwards behind the offensive line.
Right. Right.
But we saw what he could do in the passing game.
Exactly. Immediately at 4-3, he immediately made an impact.
And that's why you pointed out your top 3 playmakers in the passing game. One of those guys has to be Jeremiah Love for you next
That's
year.
right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Running back is the most open player in any pass concept anyway. Jeremiah Love's ability in the open field, I think, is way more valuable than just him running between the tackles. Let Jadarian Price do that. You know, let Jadarian Price do the heavy overloaded runs, the double guard, tackle pull, that type of stuff. You can put Jeremiah Love in too, but let Jeremiah Love work in some space.
Yeah. So those are 3 players that Notre Dame is working hard to get into the 25 class and to get on campus. James Simon for Calvary Baptist down in Shreveport, 25 running back. Jaden Bright Brain. I don't know why I said Jaden. Raiden Vines Bright. Raiden Vines Bright, the kid from Arizona that's going to be playing at IMG. And then Michael Terry III out of Alamo High School down there in San Antonio, Texas. Have to be extremely happy with what Notre Dame is doing in recruiting. Like we said earlier today, they've learned their lessons, Left. No excuses.
Yeah, they've learned their lessons, and it just shows at the same time how important, right? Just how important it is that the recruiting continues, and for guys to be as talented as they are coming into these situations where the room is stacked. The room is stacked. These guys know they got Jeremiah Love and Darian in there, Aeneas Williams in there, Kedron Young in there, Jabron Payne still in there, D Ford is still in there. I mean, my goodness now. The management, how do you manage and develop is the question, because at the end of the day, who's going to pass block?
Yeah.
Hey, for real. Who? Because we had Big Bad Aldrich, and he had some pass blocking issues. Who's going to go in there and pass block?
That's a fair question. The running back room struggled in blitz pickup last year, Left.
That's right.
Now, what is the main reason for struggling in blitz pickup? Because most people just think it's size, but it has to be a little bit more than that.
Well, one, you got to want to block somebody. A lot of times running backs like to be very passive in the run blocking, because it's sometimes you don't always see somebody, so you just kind of play like you are kind of thing. And then a lot of times you got to know where you're looking. So running backs get complacent in my mind when it comes to blitz pickup, because one, the play happens fast. Two, they usually don't greet contact all the time. And three, the picture changes post snap, and they tend to lose that because they get too far up in the pocket, so they lose their guy that appears quicker than usual. And a lot of that can be laziness. You know what I mean? You get away with just throwing a shoulder in a guy. And it's that one time you try to throw a shoulder in a guy that makes you completely look silly. Now you're giving up a sack, on your end. So it could be many reasons. I think a lot of it is just the effort. And I think Dana McCullough should use that as a standard. Like, y'all can't get lazy when it comes to blocking. We know all of you guys can run with the ball, but who can do it both to get on the field? So that's where the detailed part of any game comes, is where you have to get so specific, because everybody's good at the big things, right?
Yeah. Some breaking news, Left. This comes from Matt Fortuna. Matt Fortuna, a longtime guy connected to Notre Dame football. He works for Stadium, as a contributor at Stadium, NBC Sports, and Cosm. have partnered to present select Notre Dame and Big Ten football games and other sports in shared reality. LA's Hollywood Park and Dallas's Grandscape will house Cosm's first LED domes, creating live sports experiences that emulate being in the stadium.
So it's a fake stadium?
Or being in the, I guess, being at another stadium, but feeling like you're at the game in a different stadium.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you put on goggles like a movie theater and they make you feel like you at the game, but you really at the movie theater. So.
Yeah. So that's breaking news. Left, you already know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic Petty Junction?
Petty Junction, Petty Story of the Day, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. You know what's funny, Left? You know what's funny? When the guy that's your confidant kind of snitches, or the guy that you go to talk to about your relationship ends up being the one that snakes your girl. Well, that's why we're putting Doc Rivers on the petty train, because the Milwaukee Bucks felt like it was time to move on from first-year head coach Adrian Griffin. I mean, the dude had it. He was second in the East, impressive record. And, you know, Adrian Griffin, during his coaching tenure, you know who he was reaching out to and talking to be his confidant on how to handle the situation in Milwaukee this entire time? It was Doc Rivers advising him. And he gets fired, and guess who takes the job? Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers was out there getting his prop Joe on for all you Wire fans. Hey, dude, you had to watch Prop Joe. That cat, Prop Joe, was sneaky. Sneaky, but was always giving somebody some advice while he sat there and fixed your clock. Doc, I'm not going to miss hearing you on games because I think you're kind of average when it comes to color commentary on NBA games. So I won't miss you. You know, I would rather have JJ Redick and some other guys. But it begs the question, my man, were you giving Adrian Griffin advice that would sabotage him? But from most Milwaukee reports, the situation behind the scenes was pretty bad.
Really?
Worse than people are reporting.
But how if they're winning games? So what makes it bad, I guess?
Left, first of all, I throw anybody in the media or connected to this team that tries to blame Adrian Griffin for the Bucks dropping from being a top 5 defense to 22nd in the NBA when you literally traded the best defender on the team.
Drew Holiday.
Yes. Well, Chris Middleton, that dude is okay as a defender. Giannis is a great off-ball help defender. Giannis has always struggled against pick and roll defensively. What did you think? I mean, Brook Lopez is like, yo.
Bobby Portis ain't going to be your only force.
No, like you don't have defensive players, and then you add Dame, who has never been noticed. But you expect Adrian Griffin, a defensive coach, to solve everything. That just shows you the mindset, right? It's just like what the Phoenix Suns did. Trade all your defenders, bring in offensive players, and then get upset when you can't stop anybody on the defensive end. I don't understand, man. I don't understand. It's organizations making some weird decisions. But Doc Rivers, my brother, you have to go to the petty train, bro. Because this one does not look good. And then Giannis, you asked for Adrian Griffin, and then you turn on him in the middle of the season? Man, Giannis pulled a LeBron, dude.
What do you do?
Well, you know, LeBron, you know, when he got Tyronn Lue hired in the middle of the season, you know, that actually worked. They actually ended up winning the championship.
I mean, Tyronn Lue, one of the top coaches in the league right now.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying Giannis pulled the same thing, but Giannis has to like follow that up. LeBron followed that up with a championship. Giannis made this power move. He's gonna have to win. You have to win, my brother. You have one. You need to take that next step and prove that you can get two. And just for being petty, throw me on the petty train. I'm not impressed by 70 points. Joel Embiid.
Not impressed.
No, not when you're getting bounced out in the second round every year. I care less about 70. Show me you can get to the conference finals. That's what I want to see. Because you're the most dominant dude in the game. No one can stop you. No one. You can shoot threes. You can shoot mid-range. You can roll to the bucket and pick and roll. You can post up. There's nobody in the league that can defend you. Every time you go head up with Jokic, you give him the business. Like, dude, who's going to stop you? And then you get to the playoffs, and all of a sudden, you don't up your game. Your game stays on the same level. I need to see more, Left. 70 points. Fantastic. That's nice. But you're at the point of your career. Well, we've seen that from you, bro. Offensively, no, we know you're gifted, you're skilled. No one can stop you. You can dominate.
That's a little harsh, Sean.
I said I put myself on the petty train before I said it, Left. I knew what I was getting ready to say. That's why I put myself on the petty train.
That's true.
I'm just saying, dude, you need to win. Like, what is he, 7 years in? Yeah, dude, all them stats. You need to win a championship. You need to show you can lead your team.
That's right.
That's all I'm saying. Great show, Left.
Yep.
Hey, man, whatever you guys decide to eat today, if it's chicken, you make sure Lil Left gets an extra piece of chicken today.
That's right.
He deserves it.
He deserves it.
He played the assistant well today.
Oh yeah, he you know, as he's watching and playing his games, he likes to keep us on task whenever it comes up. So that's a good thing.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. For Left, I'm Sean Davis. Enjoy your hump day, man. And most of all, make sure that you spin it different.